Welcome back, everyone, to a Monday edition. We're back from the weekend. The Blue Review is here as always at 9:30 to 9:55, reacting to the Dodgers. So we got a whole series that we won that we can react to. So good news on that front. Finally, I think the Dodgers, like when Flaherty made his debut, that was like their first win since Flaherty wasn't wearing a Tigers uniform. So
yeah,
it's been a little while.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute. So lots to get into today. Some injury updates, tons of good stuff. And of course, before we get into anything though, I just want to say shout out to Freddie Freeman and his family. It was great news to see his youngest son, Maximus, be able to be discharged. Of course, long road ahead of him still, but that's great news to hear that he's okay. And we wish nothing but the best for them. Yeah. He's home. So thank you to Freddie for that update and everything in Chelsea and the family. So, of course, the Blue Review here is presented by LAX, and our friends at Los Angeles International Airport are just changing the travel experience, reducing traffic, saving guests time. And if you want to learn more, you can check it out at flylax.com/transforminglAX. And speaking of LAX, I was saying this before the show, guys, I was supposed to go on a date, but some people can't make it because of the hurricane out in Florida. So people like Sedano having troubles getting around. So LAX, good luck with all that. We wish everyone the best, traveling this season.
Yeah, messing with all that hurricane is messing with a lot of flights.
Yeah, be safe, man. If you're in the path of the hurricane and you're why would you be watching us? Go prepare.
Exactly.
but be safe.
We'll be okay.
We'll be all right.
Yeah. But of course the Dodgers, they were out here on the West Coast. Last time they were going to be playing in Oakland, unfortunately. But we can get into that in a sec. So Marcus, what did you see from this series overall? I know that you used to be a Bay Area guy, so
yeah.
What were your thoughts after this series win?
Well, one, it's as somebody who grew up as a big time A's fan, it's kind of sad to see all these last time this team's gonna play here, last time they're gonna play there. So that part's kind of sad. But in terms of what I saw on the field, it was encouraging, right? I think for me the most encouraging thing was you got a couple of strong bullpen games. The only runs the bullpen gave up were with the home run that Joe Kelly gave up on Friday night. Other than that, the bullpen was strong, scoreless on Saturday, scoreless, including Evan Phillips coming up with a huge out in a bases loaded situation on Sunday. This has been really the biggest worry about this team over the last month or so. So to see them actually put together some zeros in some really close games against a team that was hitting really well. I know it's one thing to look at and be like, oh, it's the A's. They have a terrible record, but I mean, they have been hitting the ball very, very well lately. So for the bullpen to stand up tall and get some big outs, that to me was the biggest thing. And then obviously Jack Flaherty's start was huge, so that was certainly encouraging. But I don't know about you, Greg. The bullpen was the thing that I think made me the most encouraged from this weekend.
Yeah, I did really like seeing the bullpen pitch very, very well. And by the way, the A's were hot coming into this. I think they won like 8 of 12 or something along those lines. They were playing very, very well coming into that series, and they were hitting a lot of home runs. They talked about it a bunch on the broadcast that they were their slug was crazy high coming into that series. So I mean, you saw it on Friday. But the fact of the matter, yes, the bullpen I thought was fantastic. They were really, really good yesterday with the Evan Phillips, and Trinan was good, and so was Hudson. And they just went through the fact that Bonda got the save at the end. That was really nice to see. There was a lot of good things to come from the bullpen. I just also worry that they are going to be even more overused because of how they're being used. But there's people coming. Gratterall's coming. Yes. Brazier's coming. There's a lot going on. I have some positives and a negative for you, Marcus. So okay. Flaherty was fantastic. We can get into a lot more Flaherty. The fact that he in the 6th inning with 90 pitches, he got out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. Thought that was great. Mm-hmm. Something that this team really, really needed. I thought River Ryan was good yesterday. He kind of needs to keep his walks down. There's still too many walks, which is pushing up his pitch count. But he gave up the 1 home run, and that was really basically actually that was it. So he was good. Yeah. Yep, that was good. I'm worried about Gavin Stone. That was another outing for Gavin Stone that was just subpar. Mm-hmm. 5 or was it 5? No, it's 4 of his last 5 outings he's given up 4 or 5 runs, at least 4 runs. And it's been like that since the beginning of July. he's a guy that we have to kind of rely on right now and need to look forward to. Marcus, I don't know what you thought of him, but that to me is concerning, that a guy that is supposed to be a big cog in this rotation is continuing to struggle.
Yeah, well, and it's because I think for me, he is not a strikeout guy, right? He's not gonna have a bunch of swings and misses. That's not his game. He is a pitch to contact guy. Try to get soft contact. Try to get them to hit the ball at guys. And right now, that's not happening. He's still giving up contact, but it's a lot louder, a lot harder contact, and so those are turning into guys on base. It's turning into runs. So yeah, that part is definitely concerning. And I don't know if it's and we talked about this before. I don't know if it's him sort of hitting that rookie wall here, having pitched so many innings. I don't know if it's that, teams have tape on him and sort of the word is out. It's probably a combination of the two things, I would imagine, but definitely concerning. You sort of hope he can right the ship a little bit. I mean, Flaherty's here, which is good. Glass now is back, even though I know his last couple starts haven't been great. Hopefully this is just him kind of shaking some things off. Yamamoto is, I know he's still like at least a month away probably, but with the return of guys in the bullpen, if they can get Stone just to kind of hang on and sort of rekindle a little bit of that magic from the first half, I think then you've got 3 starters that you can really count on. You can sort of cobble together hopefully some innings the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, talking about pitching to contact, in his last 5 starts, he's given up 7 hits, 7, 9, 6, 9, 8. He's giving up hits. He's giving up contact, and that's part of where this problem is. I really do think he had a really strong first half rookie year, and is just getting that second half, being tired.
Yeah,
it's so hopefully that he can figure it out. But Parker, I don't know. I mean, that part is concerning to me.
If I remember correctly, I think, was it Greg Stadramas? He actually maybe might have predicted this after our push for Gavin Stone to be in the All-Star game. Somebody did say that he was really scared about a second half slump, and we're seeing it right now. I mean, like you said, in the last 5 games, all those hits, he's also only averaging about 4.5 innings each game. And what we want right now the most out of Dodgers starters are innings, and you already know you're not going to get those out of Kershaw, and you're not going to get those out of the guys who are coming back from injury, which we're hearing names like Buehler's going to be back soon, and even Bobby could get back in that mix. You're not going to be seeing 6 innings from those guys. So really, it's just Glasnow and Flaherty. So to see Stone get in this little slump, it is scary, but at the same time, he does have it in him. He has the health, which is like the most encouraging sign. So maybe he'll end up being like just the 4th guy when we head into the playoffs, but we're going to have to see, because we wanted him to be the 3rd the way he was performing in the first half.
Yeah, and it's been pretty much since that complete game shutout, right? Everything has sort of fallen apart since then. I'm going back through all of his stats, even his minor league stats. The most he ever pitched in one season in the minors was 121 innings. He's at 111 right now, so he's going to, barring injury, blow past that over his how many starts he has left this season. So yeah, I mean, he really is up on it when you talk about that innings ceiling that he has. So, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, you try to somehow build in an extra day of rest in the rotation. I don't really know how with the arms that they have right now or what. I just don't know really what else to do, because he's got to go out there and take his turn every 5th day, because the Dodgers absolutely need starting pitching wherever they can find it.
Yeah, there's no space for him not to go out there every 5 days, unfortunately. But also, like, we have some guys on the injured list that are now they're coming back. All these dudes are coming back. So with that, people have to be moved off of the roster, and that's where it's going to start getting a little bit hectic. So like guys like Nick Ahmed and Kike Hernandez, and Ahmed Rosario, and the guys that even Kevin Kiermaier, those guys are going to have to start moving around. And I don't know who you want to be taking off that roster at this point, because Kike has been playing very, very well. Gavin Lux is obviously not going where he's been playing great, but I don't know, when guys like Mookie and Max come back, who are you moving off?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question of who goes right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's no real easy answer, right? You're not moving guys you just traded for, right?
Yeah. You would think so.
I mean, does this mean Kevin Biggio is in danger?
He's been pitching. He's been playing a great defensive first base since Freddie's been out. He was great there. And actually,
no more minor league options on that contract as well.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know what you do with him. just think maybe you move him back to third temporarily. But if Muncy really is progressing the way the reports say,
chiropractor.
Yeah, shout out chiropractors for the win.
Yeah.
You know, the third base opportunities aren't going to be there very consistently for him either. I don't know. Which way, side note, is Kike Hernandez our best reliever?
Yeah, I think he is our best reliever.
Yeah.
Just that little
Shohei
44 mile an hour slider that people just can't get a hold of.
Best two-way player in the game. I mean, he's slashing 300 in his last 55 plate appearances. We love to see it.
So, but yeah, I mean, back to your point though, I don't know who gets moved. Like, you know what? Yeah, there's no easy answers to this right now.
Which is a good thing, right? It's good that you have enough guys that can. I mean, they're not great. Really, whoever you move off for Mookie Betts and Max Muncy, it's just the right move. Like, just you can probably move off of them. It's just picking the right one to stick around. That's going to be somebody you can play in the postseason. Yeah. I don't think Kevin Kiermaier is going to be that guy. He has absolutely zero bat. However, he's a really good center fielder, and we do not have a really good defensive center fielder right now.
Yeah.
So that could become an issue as well. There's just a lot of question marks coming up in the next month. And when that is, people are going to have to move off of this roster, and it's going to be interesting to see who goes, who stays, and what goes on from there. But you want to talk about something positive, Marcus?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about just a little bit about Flaherty. Like, that guy was so good on Saturday. 0 runs, 6 innings, and just did everything. I think he only gave up 5 hits. He gave up, and 3 of them were like these little nothing, just bloopers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it really nice to see Jack Flaherty come in here and just show like, okay, this is what we're getting out of you in Dodger blue.
Yeah, and I feel like that, you know, you mentioned the 2 hits in the first inning, you know, just some soft contact. I feel like a lot of that was maybe a combination of nerves. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you know, do you know he went to Harvard Westlake High School? Because it felt like they mentioned it like 30 times.
Yeah, that's it.
But I feel like, you know, maybe nerves for pitching for his hometown team for the first time. And then the fact that he had a 10-day layoff between starts, you know, probably a little bit of rust that he had to work out, but he was great. You know, he kept them off balance, didn't really get himself in too much trouble except for that bases loaded jam, which was not totally his fault, by the way. I mean, that inning started on an error by Biggio on the throw. Then just a little flare into left field. Then there was the walk. After that, though, he locked in and got out of it. It was everything we wanted to see, one out of Flaherty, but out of the starting pitching altogether. So it's incredibly encouraging of what they're getting out of him so far. And you know, I don't know, what does this make him, in theory, the number 2 starter? If this is the Jack Flaherty we see the rest of the way, is he the number 2 behind Tyler Glasnow now?
See, part of me wants to say yes, 100% he is. I mean, if Yamamoto comes back, I can't see him just sliding right into that number 2 spot until he's fully healthy. I also have been watching, and you have too, what Tyler Glasnow has looked like for a little while now. And he has not been pitching that great. He went 7 innings, gave up, I think, 3 runs, but he's giving up home runs. He's giving up runs. He's giving up hits. So I think the difference in there is, I mean, I can't say Flaherty after 1 start is your number 1 starter,
Right.
But you know, if you keep watching, if he keeps pitching like this, and he keeps how he's been pitching in the American League, especially if he pitches against a really good team like that, you might start thinking about who actually is that number 1 starter going into the playoffs. Because if Tyler Glasnow, who's right at the most innings that he's ever pitched in his career, you might have to start looking at Flaherty a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, obviously, there's still 2 months to sort of work all this stuff out, right? And a lot of things can change in a couple of months. So, but it is just, again, having watched this pitching staff lately from top to bottom and seeing how it's struggled, how it's dealt with injuries, it just felt nice to get an injection of talent in there and have a guy step up and give them 6 strong innings, you know, and then have the bullpen follow it up. So just, yeah, for as frustrating as the last few weeks have been, I felt like Saturday and Sunday were really a breath of fresh air, you know, and even, I guess, to a point, the end of Friday night, even though they lost, the fact that they rallied, Shohei hit the home run, they got to within 1. It felt like that was kind of a nice Kickstarter for the rest of the weekend. So, you know, schedule didn't lighten up. You know, they got the Phillies and stuff coming in, but there's reason to feel a little bit better now, especially because the Phillies, as much as we've been frustrated, Philly fans, the Phillies have been kind of awful lately. So maybe this is a chance to get healthy.
Yeah, the Phillies are struggling. They're without Ranger Suarez and a few other key names. So it's not just the Dodgers currently who are struggling. I think I saw Friday it was that there was no team at that day who are on pace to win 100 games, which to me
Wow.
was just crazy. I'll have to pull up that stat, but to hear that just really solidifies and encourages Dodger fans to know that it's just been a tough season overall, all over the place, all around the league. And I know that you see teams get hot here and there, but it doesn't really last all that long. So it's good to see that the Dodgers are still where they're at. And along the lines of Flaherty, not to go off topic, it's great to see that he was looking so good with his off speed. I mean, I think he's averaging players are averaging 186 against his off speed against his breaking balls. So the dude might be our number one right now, to your point, Greg.
Yeah, we still need a little bit more time to say he's the number one starter. It was the A's, but however, the A's were playing very, very well. So I think that's a little bit more impressive than people give them credit for, because it's the name the A's, and you have no idea who any of those people are in that lineup. But at the same time, it was a really good start. I think, Flaherty, that knuckle curve that he has is just something that people are not hitting and can't even get close to hitting right now. So if you're looking at what's coming up today, tomorrow, and Wednesday against the Phillies. And by the way, I'll be at the game tomorrow. It's Kershaw Day tomorrow, and I'm going to be there. Really excited about that. Glasnow versus Nola tonight, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. Aaron Nola is a very, very good pitcher. Gavin Stone, or Kershaw versus Sanchez, and then who absolutely was lights out against us when they were in Philadelphia, and then Stone versus Phillips. So that could be. This is important. I really think, Marcus, that this series is very important. The fact of the matter is, no matter what, they're 4.5 up on the Padres, who are 8-2 in their last 10, and the Diamondbacks, who are 8-2 in their last 10. You have to win some of these games. Winning 2 out of 3 against the A's was important. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Phillies is going to be very important as well, because if they keep winning, they're just right there behind.
Yeah, well, and just looking at the Padres schedule, I mean, the schedule does the Dodgers no favors, right? Because San Diego's in Pittsburgh. The Pirates are okay, but not necessarily a great team. They go to Miami. The Marlins are awful. Another stop against Pittsburgh, then the Rockies. So I mean, there are some soft spots in the Padres schedule right now, which means you can't really count. Anything can happen, but it's hard to look at that schedule and count on them just having a collapse over the next week or two, just because the opposition they face isn't really great. So this is going to be a tough spot for the Dodgers. I will say that I'm encouraged by all the news of guys coming back. We talked about the pitching staff coming back, but that Mookie is getting close. They're saying maybe by the next road trip, possibly he could be back
12th or 13th.
Yeah. So, maybe another week till he's back. Muncy having that miraculous, chiropractic session, whatever that is, it was amazing. So that he's working his way back, all these guys starting to come back at the right time. Give them, a month or two to ramp up before we get to the playoffs. This is at least giving us reason to feel confident again.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about the Padres schedule during that time that they're seeing, Pittsburgh a little bit, and the Miami and Colorado a bunch. We're seeing Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, who's in above 500 team, Milwaukee, who's a first place team, and then St. Louis, who's a second place team. Yeah. So you're seeing first place, third place, first place, second place, and then you see Seattle right after that, which doesn't get any easier whatsoever. And Seattle is still playing; they're in first place in their division. So that's you're getting these good teams all in a row. And we will be seeing Paul Skeens, so that's a whole nother issue in itself.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of the issue with the Dodgers, sort of having a backloaded schedule, right? That the front part of the schedule was fairly soft. And I think for the most part, they did a good job against it, barring injuries that sort of derailed everything. But now this is when things sort of turn up. So it is going to be interesting to watch, because the Padres are obviously charging hard. The Diamondbacks really aren't that far away. They're just a half game back of San Diego right now. So this is legitimately a race. It's the first time, I think, in a while that this team has been in a division race at this point in the season. Normally, they're just kind of on cruise control. But again, getting the guys back, getting healthy at the right time, even against a loaded schedule. And look, maybe, and this is me, trying to spin things positively, maybe having that tough schedule down the stretch means that they really do have to focus a little bit more, because that's not really a thing this team's had to do the last few years. They've kind of just been able to kind of cruise into the postseason. But now 2 teams on their tail, really tough schedule. Maybe this kind of gets them into playoff mode a little early.
No, I love that. Go ahead, Parker.
Yeah. I know. I really like that. I mean, to see them have to play some important games, to be honest, tonight, Glasnow, this is a really important statement game. If he is going to ever have a moment where he's just listen, I'm putting the team on my back, and I'm going to beat a good Phillies team. I get that they're struggling, but that's also a scary thing when a team is coming in to LA 2-8 in the last 10 and they're averaging like 235. You already know how that goes. Sometimes teams just happen to get hot when they come out to the sunny bright lights in LA. So now is the best time for Glasnow to just take over, show us why that whip has been under 1 all year, and just get a dub. Get a dub, please.
I would really love to see Glasnow have just a strong outing. I mean, 3 runs in 7 innings is good. Like, that is a quality start that you want to have, and you should be able to win in those types of games. He even got run support in that game and still lost. So, it's difficult when those types of things happen. But I think I would love to see him really limit the Phillies to a run, maybe 2, and go 7 strong, and just show to them, especially off of Flaherty's outing, and being able to say, like, okay, I got a little bit of competition. I feed off of this type of thing. Just go out there, pitch really strong, and really hold the Phillies down. But if he gets hit up again, it's a little bit of worry time for Glasnow, because he has just been giving up runs, and it's been at a pretty high clip.
Been a high clip, and home runs. I mean, home runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. So again, I think just sort of kind of keeping them down as much as possible, knowing this is a really, really good lineup. But if you can get out to a couple of strong, quick innings, if this offense can score a couple of runs early, which it was nice to see them score in the first inning the last couple of games, if they can get some early offense, then I think this, it bodes well for the rest of the night.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's a big point too, is that our bullpen needs it, right? Our bullpen needs just a little bit of help. Like, if he can go 7 innings and you only have to pitch 2 guys opposed to only going 5 and having to pitch 4 guys, that changes your entire bullpen. Let them rest a little bit, especially with Kershaw coming in tomorrow, who is not going to go more than 3 or 4. I mean, his last outing, he got just destroyed in the second inning. Both outings, he's gotten hit up in the second inning. So if he can go a long distance, go 7 innings, that will really, really help the bullpen.
I don't know if there's a right way to do this. Is it more taxing on the bullpen when, like, every night it seems to be some sort of combination of Hudson, Trine, and Phillips each going an inning, rather than, or maybe there's no confidence to let these guys go for a second inning? I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like you've burned all 3 of these arms every single night, because that just seems to be the way they work, and throw Bonda in there, who just seems to have a rubber arm. I don't know if it's better to take one of those guys and stretch them out over 2 innings as opposed to just having them pitch 1 inning every day. I don't know.
Well, losing Michael Grove to injury, and hopefully he comes back soon, that's a big one, because he was a guy that you could throw 2-3 innings. Ryan Yarbrough, you traded. He was supposed to be a guy to go 2-3 innings. I just wonder if at some point they start bringing up guys like Robleski to go into the bullpen, be a 3-inning guy, moving River Ryan out of the starting rotation and being a 3-inning guy for the playoffs. It's going to be interesting the way that they do those things. It's just Kershaw tomorrow really makes a big difference to me, because if he can't figure it out, that changes a lot of what you want to do postseason wise.
Yeah, for sure.
But the positive side of that, though, is that when you see Brewstar come back and Grove come back and Brazier, you just have an abundance of options. So while it may feel like a negative at the moment, I guess when it boils down, it's good to have as many options as possible. And like you said, we're going to see a lot of names leave the roster. We don't know how the guys are going to make those decisions, but we'll be seeing them soon as people are coming back. Mookie, all these names are going to be coming back. Lots of good news on the Dodgers front. So hopefully they can get a series win. It starts tonight. Greg, you said you're there tomorrow, correct?
Tomorrow for Kershaw Day, yes.
Awesome. So we'll be getting live reactions from Greg tomorrow, but for today, Glasnow's on the bump, of course, versus another great pitcher in Nola. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully Glasnow gets the dub, and we'll be reacting at 9:30 to 9:55 tomorrow. Marcus, I know that you might not be here. Hopefully you can hop on in, but if not, we're still going to react always. And I just want to say, Greg, you can close us out, but thank you. This was a great episode, and thank you to the chat, as always, for being active.
Thank you guys both. Thank Marcus. Thank you, Parker. Be here every day, 9:30 to 9:55 on the ESPN LA YouTube channel for the Blue Review. We'll be back here tomorrow. Appreciate all of you. Thank you to LAX, and we'll see you everybody mañana.